Hello everyone, 2023 Stanley Cup Playoff Eastern Conference quarterfinal matchup, Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Islanders. Carolina being back-to-back Metropolitan Division winners, the Islanders coming in as the top wild card spot. 113 points for Carolina, 93 for the Islanders. They last played each other in 2019 in the conference semis. Carolina swept the Islanders 4-0. This is a matchup that I think would be very interesting to watch. Probably be a very fun one in my opinion here. If you're looking at the stat breakdown, Carolina, 3.2 goals per game. It's good for 15th. The Islanders are 22nd at only 2.95. Not a very high-scoring team. Neither team really technically is. When it comes to goals against, Carolina is second in the league at 2.56, only being bested by Boston there. Fantastically defensive. I've been watching them play. When I do watch their games there, they've been really great at doing everything there. The Islanders are no slouch, though. They are actually fifth place themselves at 2.65. Very good defensive teams there, especially when you have the guys in net as well, which I will be covering here in just a moment. As for the power play next there, we are talking about, we start that whole thing. Hey everyone, taking a look at the 2023 NHL Stanley Cup Playoff Eastern Conference quarterfinal matchup between the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Islanders. The Carolina Hurricanes coming in as back-to-back Metropolitan Division winners with 113 points, and the Islanders getting back into the playoffs after being out for a couple years there with 93 as a top wild card spot. The last matchup between these two teams was 2019 in the Eastern Conference semis. Carolina won that series 4-0 as a sweep there. Stat-wise, both these teams, not the super highest of scoring there. It's a 3.2 for Carolina, which is good for 15th, so okay, middle of the pack for them at least. The Islanders are only 22nd at 2.95. Defensively, though, both these teams are downright fantastic. Carolina's at a 2.56, which is good for second, and the Islanders, fifth place at 2.65. Very excellent there defensively. The goaltenders are absolutely phenomenal. We'll go over that in just a moment here. For the power play, both teams aren't really that great at the power play, which I guess coincides with not being the best of goal scorers either there. Carolina's at a 19.8, good for 19th, and the Islanders, very low 15.8. That's 30th in the league. So the Islanders are probably going to have a lot of trouble here, especially considering that penalty kill wise, Carolina is second with an 84.4% penalty kill. But the Islanders are also just as good, basically 82.2 for 9th. So I don't think either team here, when you're playing against defenses that can keep the puck away and out of the net on both 5-on-5 and a penalty kill, this honestly might be a series that has struggled for scoring. Your top point getters, Nikas for the Hurricanes at 71 points, Nelson 75 points for the Islanders. Maybe not super crazy high scorers like some of these other teams have had in the postseason, but definitely more team play than as a result. Both teams, of course, are here for a reason. When you come to net, in the net minders here, Carolina kind of did a stagger the whole season. I forget if it's because Anderson got hurt or not, but Anderson and Ranta both played a decent chunk of games here. And I believe they are starting Anderson, but I'm also putting up Ranta's stats here because I don't know if Carolina is going to stick with Anderson should they start running into trouble for some reason. Anderson was a 2.48 goals against with a 9.03 save percentage. Ranta slightly better at a 2.23 and a 9.10 save percentage. I'm assuming they're starting with Anderson, though. I believe he's been their starter here. But I wouldn't be surprised if Ranta comes in at some point should the Canes start to struggle for any sort of reason. On the opposite end, Sorokin in net for the Islanders. The guy is fantastic. He's a great goalie. Probably for the best for the Islanders since DiPietro, I'm guessing. He is a very, very great netminder. I feel like the Islanders can definitely know that if worst comes to worst, the guy in net can make stops and steal games. 2.34 goals against average and a 9.24 save percentage. So the guy undoubtedly knows how to play the position very well. He is fantastic. I could have sworn I think he was up for a Vezina consideration a few years ago. Maybe it was even last year. But the guy's good. At the end here, when it comes to my prediction of who's winning this series, these teams, despite being a 20-point difference in the standings, feel a lot closer on paper here. Carolina, I think, can explode for a lot more offense, and I think would have a better defense here than the Islanders. Just generally speaking, I mean, they put up more points. They got more points and won more games for a reason, probably because they played better, right? But there's something about the Islanders though that I feel like that they're gonna be that upstart that wants to prove they can upset someone. So I'm gonna probably go against what most people were gonna say here. Most people are probably saying Carolina. I'm gonna pick the Islanders in this case, though. Something tells me Sorokin is gonna be able to steal some games from the Canes. The Canes did struggle last year too in their playoff series. They never won a road game, and they wound up losing one home game, which sent them home at that point. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but if that trend occurs, all it takes is the Islanders stealing a home game then at that point from Carolina, and they win. But I don't think that's going to be the situation. I still think the Islanders win this series, though. I'm picking the Islanders 4-2 here in this case. But not just this series. I am covering every single series here from the quarterfinals all the way through to the Stanley Cup final with my predictions and just a brief analysis at the beginning of each round. So please watch the rest if you'd like to. But I do hope you enjoyed this one for a quick little snapshot of what the series might be. And I do look forward to talking to you all again later. Thank you. Take care.